Hey guys, welcome. This is Brad Krantz. Thanks for joining me. We've got a beautiful first day of December here in Seattle, Washington. Thanks for again for being here, for tuning into this video if you're watching. Today I'm talking about, my subject is social media as a powerful marketing trend. And I'm just going to give kind of some quick background on trends. Some of you may be familiar with the book that came out in 1982 by John Naisbitt called Megatrends, where he identified 10 trends. After about 12 years of study, wrote a book about it. It was a bestseller. Then I think he did a Megatrends 2000 coming up or something too. But the one that sticks out in my mind was becoming an information society after having been an industrial one. And he was right on that, at least for about a seventh of the world's population. Look at where we're at from 1982 to now 2020, almost 2021. So we've become an information society, I think, in ways that people obviously didn't see back at that point. But man, with social media, internet, all that, and that's where I'm going to be delving in. Current mega trends, and I'm just going to mention these and focus on the fifth one, but there's 5 global shifts that are changing the way we live and do business. Obviously, time and some of these are outside the scope of my video today, but I'm just going to mention them. Rapid urbanization is one. Climate change and resource scarcity. We can debate that. I'm not going to. Shift in global economic power. We might see some shifts with the U.S. debt to maybe China and India. That kind of remains to be seen. And then we have demographic and social change taking place. But the one I really want to focus on that's of most interest to my thesis here really is technological breakthroughs. And it's my thesis that social media as a growing, viable way to reach and engage with a global audience is one of those, as undervalued and too still often overlooked as it still might be as of 2020. But I think it's one of the mega trends of our current century and current decade for sure. John Naisbitt also wrote in 1999, talked about high touch and high tech. And he said, in a high tech world, with an increasing search for balance, high touch will be the key to differentiate products or services. And I think that's held its value. It's still very true. I'm going to come back and touch base on this in a minute, but as high tech as we've got, you've still got to have high tech. And I think that's very much true now with the internet being at its zenith, like Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, and social media being ever present on all the multiple platforms that we have. But I just want to mention too, in passing, that there's really 2 aspects to social media. One, you've got the entertainment value, right? The memes, the GIFs, all that stuff. We could probably say TikTok probably epitomizes that more than anything, with kind of the funny videos, little 15-second, I think up to 1 minute videos actually too. But it really isn't. Social media is an entertainment platform. TikTok is kind of showcases that. But number 2 is social media as a business resource. And that's where I want to focus the rest of my video on and kind of really delve down into this a little bit. Going back to 2018, there's an article in Forbes I thought would give some good talking points. I'm going to critique these a bit. It was 5 reasons that social media is a powerful tool in your marketing strategy. I'll give the article a B at this point, and I'm going to talk about why. Basically, to bring to light powerful impacts with social media that often get overlooked, here are 5 reasons why social media should be part of your strategy. And I definitely think it should when competing in today's digital landscape. And I think that's whether you're a Fortune 500 company, a smaller company, or even individually, we can harness and leverage the power of social media, and the results we can get can be pretty amazing. So number 1, the article notes that it's a feeding ground for industry insights. And it certainly is. Gary Vaynerchuk's talked about this. What a better way to gather information from your target audience than to listen to real candid conversations that your prospects or your customers are having. Interesting, and they are doing that. Gary Vaynerchuk's really done very, very well with that. There's social media management tools like Hootsuite and Sprout Social, and it's a great way to find your next blog topic too, if that's what you're into. And what I think is huge about this, what they note, and it's bad, I'm sad that it's at the end of the article. I think it should be at the top. And one of the best parts is can all be accessed for free. I've done videos on that. I've posted on this. There's like 20 plus 30 ways that you can use social media free. I mean, platforms from LinkedIn to YouTube, to Instagram, to Facebook, to Snapchat, TikTok. Okay, it is free. You have to have an internet service provider, but you can post on Facebook. You can post on LinkedIn. You can do YouTube videos like this one is. You can get on Instagram. and it's free, but you have to know how to use it. And part of that, I'm going to talk about this at the end, is you knowing how to effectively use social media so that you can leverage it to your advantage. Secondly, the article notes that you become human. Obviously, as the business environment changes, we have to adapt to the changing expectations of our consumers, or our customers, or potential business partners in our case. One of the trends that social media has caused, the article notes, is the expectation for companies, I'll just say businesses, to be more human. And here we're back to what John Naisbitt says: high tech, high touch. Yeah, you've got the high tech, you've got the website, but you're also got your social media platforms. You have to have the high touch blended with that. High tech in and of itself, you're gonna fall. You're gonna be unbalanced. You're gonna only have half the equation there. You got like reviews. What do we do? Google reviews. We find out before we even buy a product, and that's what I do, whether it's on Amazon, etc. I read the reviews of products by people who bought it, people who've used it, to see if this is going to be a good purchase for me, especially when I get into high tech stuff, audio, TV, things like that. But reviews, comments, and word of mouth have forced brands, companies, and their brands to be more candid on social platforms, right? With the internet, it's pretty hard to hide things. If you got a bad product, product defects, et cetera, like that, you're going to get found out really quick. And these voices can't be ignored, as I'll just say customers, consumers, potential business partners. Give them more weight than any paid advertisement. And here really is the benefit of social media, guys. I'm on 4 platforms right now. I've been on LinkedIn for about 10 years. I've got my Facebook, my normal page, and my business page. I'm on YouTube. There's a YouTube video, obviously, and I have an Instagram account. So you can check me out in 4 different ways. And I think that's what it is. That really becomes your online resume, where if you have content there, and we're going to get into this a little bit, people can go and they can check you out. And that's what customers are doing with companies. They're going to do the same thing with your online business opportunities, such as ourselves, online marketing business. People can go and check you out, and they should. But welcome to the world of influencers and social commerce. People validate and buy from other people, and it goes back to people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. Right? You've got to be transparent so people can see that. Okay. Consumers often self-educate and make up their minds before they step their foot in a store, or before your salesperson picks up the phone, right? And I do that too. We research stuff online before we even go to the store. So again, consumers today, people that are looking for online business opportunities, et cetera, again, social media can be a very valuable way to check something out before you go in and spend the time to go take a look at it, or what we used to call kick the tires, right? So valuable there. I agree with that. Number 3, I'm not so sold on. It talks about make cold calling cool. He said many people, the article notes that many people say that cold calling is dead. It's not dead. I was in sales for 30 years. However, I wouldn't totally agree. The article says it just requires a new approach. With professional networks like LinkedIn, again, I'm on LinkedIn, been on it for 10 years. You can prospect in a whole new way, from joining relevant groups to commenting on posts, to engage with leads in a non-intrusive way. But I have to admit there's nothing worse than making a connection with somebody. I've had this happen on LinkedIn more than once. And the first thing they do, they want to sell you something, or they have an automated response about what their business sells in that. And I think, number 1, that's not cool. That doesn't work. And I think that's a cardinal sin of social media. It's about developing a connection. It's social, guys. You have to be social. You have to take some time to engage with people. Nothing like, people that want to get in an investment, or Bitcoins, or Forex is a hot thing. So first thing you make a connection, people want to get you in it. Guys, that doesn't work. That's cold call selling. It didn't really work that good 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It doesn't work in this day and age. So those engagements have to make a difference in whether or not they answer your call or open your email. And I'm going to say that requires some added value content first, developing rapport with the person, getting to know them, checking out their profile. Is this person a viable prospect for what I want to sell? Just because you got a product you want to sell doesn't mean that the person on the other end, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever, wants to buy your product. So I'll say cold calling, not so sold on that. I think what we're doing, and what I've learned to do in the last year and a half, you can leverage social media and get Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this all the time. Check him out on his YouTube channel. Adding value, giving, adding value. If you do that, you will attract people to you. And I'm going to talk about this at the end, it takes work and it takes time to do it. So cold calling can work, but you've got to be a little bit more sophisticated how you do it. Just because I can reach out to hundreds of thousands of people around the globe doesn't mean, and I'm not going to go through that many numbers. I'm not just going to cold call and spam people with messages, guys. That doesn't work. That irritates me. It irritates most professional people. It's very unprofessional and unsophisticated. So I'm going to leave that where it's at, but be careful with cold calling. It gives you street cred. Yeah, I just kind of alluded to this. If you aren't active on social media or you don't have accounts, okay, your company, your business, whatever is asking for a slow death. And I'm going to say, yes, they are. Gary Vaynerchuk has stated, and I agree with him on this 100%. I've said it, and I've said it dozens of times. If you're not on social media in 2020, you're irrelevant. You really are. Think about that. Stop and think about that. That might sound like a bit of a stretch, okay, but you're making things harder for yourself, your business, etc. when your audience and every one of your competitors are already there, guys. People have figured this out. Again, I'm going to keep referring to Gary Vaynerchuk. Scott Olford in his book, The Nuclear Effect, he's got that figured out. Adam and Ashley Rieker with our 3LE team, we've got this figured out. We are in the online space. If you're not in the online space, what are you doing? Again, Gary Vaynerchuk says you're irrelevant. If you haven't figured out that it's a powerful, viable medium, and that's the kind of my message today. Social media is a huge, viable trend that you need to respect. You need to understand it and make it work for you. Because if you don't, you're going to be left behind. You're going to be irrelevant. If you aren't in social media, again, this is saying it a different way, you're seen as outdated or even non-existent, right? That's exactly what he was saying. Many customers validate a company based off their profiles, guys. If you aren't a real person, they don't see real people. Nothing's worse than looking at a company's website and there's no faces there. There's no testimonies by the owner, executives, anything like that. I wonder, this is a faceless company? I'm going to leave that one unnamed, but I know of one. I used to work there. Many consumers validate a company, okay, based off their profile. So you have profiles. Same thing with me. If somebody is reaching out to me, the first thing I do is check their profile. I've talked about this, but that's key. I just talked to one of my business partners about this. And when somebody sends a message, he goes and checks out your profile. Guys, your profile is, again, that's your street cred. It's either real or it's not. It's existent or it's not. It's fake or it's real. And you have to have that dialed in. So ask yourself, are you a company, business, or entrepreneur that you would want to follow? I think that's a very good question. 5, you could do more for less. This kind of hits home here. The reach that you can get on social media from posting quality content, and there's the key, alone is hard to replicate anywhere else, guys. We have the US, we've got 330 million people, population of the world's about 7 billion. We not only have a global opportunity with Jeunesse Global and 3LE, but I can scale that globally because Jeunesse operates globally, and I can reach people that I couldn't before. We couldn't have done this 10 years ago. 330 million is a lot of people. That's great. But how would you, instead of having a 330 million pool of prospects, how'd you like to have a potential 7 billion pool of prospects, guys? That's what social media does. You can advertise as we do, and we are starting to use an SEO digital marketing specialist to provide us highly targeted leads of people that are looking for what we're doing. And that is, you can't beat that anywhere else. How many other platforms can you reach out on? Bing, Google, Facebook, YouTube, et cetera, what we're utilizing, and find and target people that are looking for the opportunity that you offer. So shifting gears a bit, social media trends for 2020 and beyond. This came from Influencer Marketing Hub. I'm not going to mention them all. They've got several of them. There's actually 5 listed that I copied, but I'm going to focus on number 4 and 5. Social media trend number 4, according to Influencer Marketing Hub, is social commerce will expand. And then number 5 is video content will dominate, because these are really, I think, were the crux of where social media, where you can leverage it and use it to build and scale a business. Okay. Social media trend number 4, social commerce will expand. Social media platforms, again, like Instagram, could be Pinterest, I don't really use that, Facebook, have long been used by brands to sell their products, right? We kind of know that. And if you're not on there, man, you better get on it, because you're about 10, 15 years behind. Social commerce has become a new retail avenue for brands, and this trend is only going to get stronger. This is to drive this point home. I sat in on a Barron's Live last week where they talked about what's ahead for the economy and markets. And interesting, out of all this, with COVID-19 hitting us, the retail sector did pretty well. If you're in the grocery business, that was a good business to be in, because grocery stores were busy, stayed busy. A lot of retailers did good. I'll just name a couple, but Best Buy, Urban Outfitters, I mean, their numbers were way up. Okay, but here's the point that they noted. The ones that didn't do well, this is in the retail space, it was due to lack of online presence. Let's translate that: lack of social media presence, right? So, and I'll just say social media commerce is on its way to becoming a mainstream retail channel on par with other mediums like websites and offline stores, guys. That's why if you haven't figured it out and you're not there and using it and leveraging it, you're missing out. This trend's going to strengthen further with more and more social networks introducing pro-selling features like shoppable posts, etc. So guys, retailers that aren't on it or didn't have a good, strong online presence, we're losing out. So you've got to get it figured out. Number 5, video content will dominate, guys. That's critical. Video content, one of the most engaging forms of content, and it's going to soon dominate social media, a clear winner over all other types of content, right? Whether it's short form videos that you get on TikTok or even stories on Instagram or long form content like this is on YouTube. Videos are the future of social media content. According to a Cisco study by 2022, that's just basically a year away, 82% of all online content will be video content. What are you doing? Are you doing videos, guys? It works, guys. Seriously, that's how people check you out. That's how you gain traction, how you get validity. This clearly shows how important it is to start utilizing video content to stay relevant in the social media domain, guys. If you're not on social media, one, you're irrelevant. If you're missing out, not doing video content, you're lagging behind. So if you're not currently creating videos, here's my push. It's a time for you to include it in your content strategy. You have to do it. It's a must. In the near future, videos are going to dominate. And if anyone that doesn't do it, they're going to realize this, they're going to have a tough time, right? So you got to get in the video game. It's not that difficult, guys. So here's my call to action. Gary Vaynerchuk did an article here, and a real just quick blurbs from it. Social media marketing, how to win at social media. This was a few years old, but he said social media isn't easy, guys. It's not. You have to work it like anything, right? You have to work it. That's why I'm on multiple platforms. That's why I'm posting stuff every day. I'm posting multiple posts to multiple platforms every day, right? Nothing worth doing it's hard work. You have to work it and you have to earn it, guys. So how we get our messages, I'll just call it social media professionals in front of ideal customers, prospects, potential business partners, and how we help our clients. Gary Vaynerchuk said this, potential business partners do the very same, has been in a constant state of change for the last decade. Social media is growing huge. We've had a lot of new platforms. We've had some disappear, change big times. Marketing has moved from push to pull. And in order to do it well, you've got to have 3 ingredients. Okay, valuable content, guys. It goes back, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. All about valuable content, adding value and giving relevant context. What platform you're on. You have to be relevant to the context of the platform you're on, and then authentic engagement, guys. That's coming from the man, Gary Vaynerchuk. So we here at 3LE Global can help you scale a 7-figure network marketing business with free training, learn to leverage social media platforms, and participate in a rotator for highly targeted SEO digital marketing leads. Please reach out to me if you'd want to know more about this. Please, I'd love to get your feedback on this video too, comments, any other insights you might have. You can check me out on my social media platforms. I'll leave those posted on this video, and you can see if somebody that you'd want to partner with. We welcome you to please check out the link of our free basic app and see what a real, constantly developing online platform looks like, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.